So before we get into this interview, a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, there are some directors, filmmakers, creatives that can't make it to the festival because it can be a bit of a trek, especially if you're living in America or Spain or Germany or France or wherever. You know, it can be a bit of a trek. So what I decided to do again was to get some pre-recorded stuff done. I got on the old Zoom, StreamYards, whatever people wanted me to get onto, I got onto them. And we did some remote calls, pre-recorded stuff, awesome interviews with some great filmmakers that I can't wait for you to listen to right now. Just because you can't get here, you should still get your Q&A, and it should still be with me because I'm the best one. You're going to be getting a few of these throughout the week, scattered around. This is Nerdly Out Loud, Nerdly TV. We are at Romford, the Romford Film Festival. We love the Romford Film Festival. We're going to continue coming back here every single year as long as they will have us. If you've been living under a rock and you have not seen this, Nerdly has got themselves into a little position where we are in partnership with Shepka Productions, The Baby in the Basket, which is a gothic horror. He's joined up with Flickering Myth to partner up and make this movie, and then they came to us and asked Nerdly to jump on board too. Absolutely, we were going to do that, and we did a crowdfunder. The crowdfunder went amazing. It's still ongoing, so you can go to Kickstarter, type in The Baby in the Basket. I'll put links all over the place. Type in The Baby in the Basket. Give £1, give £10, but only give what you can. We don't want people giving money they don't have. Please do all those wonderful things. Like, subscribe, bell, all of it. Brilliant stuff. Let's get into today's interview, which will be with whoever's in the title. But if you're not at Romford, get yourself there. Get yourself to the cinema. We are showing a smorgasbord of awesome movies. Tom Procida, the director of a short movie called My Dear Aunt Sally. And Tom, before we really get into this, your short was the first short that I watched for the festival that actually made me cry.
Really? Okay, thank you, actually.
I genuinely loved this short, so
thank you.
I'm looking forward to talking to you. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just admitted online that I cried at a short, but okay. Yeah, I'm soft. So, Tom, a little bit about yourself first before we get into talking about My Dear Aunt Sally. How did you get into the industry? What was it that made you want to do it, and why would you want to do it?
I've been an actor for quite some time, really more years than I want to admit, and then I got into filmmaking. About 5 or 6 years ago, I started making films, short films, just starting off, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and so I'm continuing to do it. And then, COVID kind of screwed things up, but I'm not complaining. Some people had it a lot worse, but getting back into it, and I really enjoy filmmaking. I guess more than acting in a way because you have a little bit more control, although it's a lot more work, I must admit. But I enjoyed acting too, and I still doing acting. I'm still an actor as well.
So what would you say? I mean, you enjoy filmmaking, but what would you say you prefer?
That's tough. It really is, because this year I wanted to kind of lean more into acting, but I'm also leaning more into filmmaking again. I kind of went like this. I guess I'm gonna have to just make the kind of get out of the cave and say I think filmmaking I enjoy more.
And what was the catalyst? What was the thing that made you go, I am going to make a film, I'm going to get into the filmmaking side, I'm going to start directing as well as acting? What was that thing that just made you go, I want to do that now?
I just had a story I wanted to tell. I mean, this is my third short, and the first one was kind of a romance, a time travel romance, and just something that I just started thinking about, and I thought, I can do this, and I want to give this a try, and I was excited about it, and it just felt like there wasn't like well, to be honest with you, there was kind of a moment, and this is going to be awfully cheesy, but that's why we're here, right? So there was a solar eclipse back in 2017 that came through the United States, and I watched it, and it was kind of one of those moments where I had been writing this story and I couldn't really figure it out, and I was having trouble with the themes, and that sort of gave me an inspiration, because it just sort of it gave me this idea of transformation and how powerful transformation is, because we've got to see the moon block out the sun, and it's all very metaphoric, of course. But that just seemed to really kick me into high gear, because prior to that, I've been kind of like waffling about, should I do a film? Should I not? Do I know what I'm doing? Can I really be a director? I don't have any experience at that. I only have experience as an actor. But that kind of did kick. If I have to give you a single moment, that really did kind of kick me into gear and make me start doing that.
It's a damn good answer as well. So you'd made a couple of shots, you've done a few things, and then you've come along with My Dear Aunt Sally, which again, as I said to you, it kind of got me in a way. I'm a father of three young girls, and my eldest does suffer a little bit from anxiety. So this movie just completely resonated with me. What was it about Heather Kennedy's script that made you go, this is a story we need to tell, and I'm the one to tell it?
You know, when I read it, I've known Heather for a while, and we've done some other work together. I worked with her as an actor, and I read the story and I said, wow, this really, really moved me. And I was so unexpected ending, yet so obvious in a way. And as I dug in, and then this was right before COVID shut everything down, so there was a huge delay in our, pre-production. And I started to realize that my own father was very much like Luke, the role of Luke, when he was a boy, because he was very shy and introverted. And he had an aunt who also, for her time, was very forward thinking and was kind of his second mother, his surrogate mother, I would say. She passed away recently. She lived to be 96. And I just thought, wow. And once I made that obvious connection, and then I said, okay, I have to do this. There's no doubt in my mind this has to be done. I have to bring this to light for sure.
And when you're doing that, how do you go about casting Chelsea Lane, who's just superb in the shot? And how did you go about getting her on board, and you're a young actor? How did you go about this? Because you needed to find something quite special there, like a chemistry that was natural.
Absolutely. It was key to the production. I think more than anything else was the cast, especially the little boy, because we didn't know what we were going to get. So we held auditions. We posted the breakdown out there on all of the different boards. Some of them were Facebook, some of them were casting networks and Backstage and all these different platforms. And we just took submissions and looked at people's resumes and brought them in. Well, actually, we had them submit a video audition. And just kind of weeded them out from there. And we were fortunate enough to find Brody, the young man who played Luke, who was just amazingly vulnerable when he had his audition, like I had never seen in any other actor his age, and very grounded, I thought. And then Chelsea, she auditioned for my second short, and she almost got the role that she was auditioning for, but I never forgot her. And she just happened to submit. I didn't even reach out. She just did. And I was like, oh, I'm really interested. And there were a few young women we were looking at, but she was clearly the best. There was no doubt in my mind. And their chemistry worked really well. We did have a little bit of a rehearsal. We went to one of the locations and just kind of ran through lines together with Chelsea and Brody. Spent a few hours, and they just hit it off right away. Yeah.
And what was that like for you as a director? Because obviously this is it's a close, quite personal story. Although you didn't write it, it's still quite close and personal to you. And what was it like watching these two actors who barely knew each other start to form this relationship, and you're seeing that blossom in front of you and become what it was?
It was a huge relief. No, I mean, I trusted my instincts and they were right. But yes, it was a relief to know that they were as good as I thought they were, probably better. So I knew I'd made the right call. And then I knew that my job would be that much easier. It always is when you have the right people, not only cast, but crew as well. It just makes my life a lot easier, and I can work on the finer points.
And I guess that kind of leads into the next thing, which is kind of like how much easier does that make? This is a very socially prevalent kind of thing right now, especially after COVID. A lot of kids are going through these kind of issues and everything. But you needed to make it. Yeah, it's a good story that is going to touch people, but it also has to be quite respectful. So, how much easier do their roles and the way that they play it make your job?
Yeah, I mean, there were a few adjustments I made to the story. I don't want to take anything away from Heather. It's probably about 85% of what she wrote. I mean, it's clearly her story. I made a few adjustments. I wanted to make Sally as likable as possible and Luke as likable as possible. Not that that was a big stretch, but just really fine-tune some of the things that were going on. Sometimes what you read on a piece of paper is different than how it looks visually.
Yeah.
And I just thought as long as Sally is coming at Luke positively in every way, I just and Luke was very sincere. I just felt that would sort of kind of tell its own story, if that makes sense. If I'm answering your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So there is a line in the short that I just love, and it instantly just it just makes everything go. But I personally do believe that when I was watching the short, either you or Heather, now that you've said that, you changed a few things and all this, one of you has heard this line said to you over the years. What you do after the bird shits on you. Where did that come from? Because I love that line.
Totally Heather, completely Heather. We have heard that sort of thing. It's what you do after you get hit. You get up off the canvas and you move. That's kind of the metaphor there. I loved it. I really liked that she was using a 4-letter word. I think it's the only time she does in the film, but she's not talking about someone. She's just referring to, bird excrement. And I liked it. But it was totally Heather's idea. Her concept on that, and really everything was, yeah.
And every creative, every director, every actor, every filmmaker, when I ask them about their movie, they can tell me absolutely everything that's wrong with it. They can tell me all the little problems that not everybody can see. But I want to know, when you watch it up on the big screen, when you see it on the big screen, or when you watch it at home or anything like that, what are you most proud of? Like what moment in the movie? It could be a line, it could be a scene, it could be something that happened backstage. What are you most proud of?
Personally, that I there was if you recall in the movie when he's toward the end, he's having a flashback. He flashes back, he's in the mirror, and he flashes back to Sally. That was not in the script. The scene that he flashes back to was, but I removed it and I took it out of the linear path that it was on, and I made it a flashback. And I thought that moment, personally, if I could just kind of pat myself on the back, that moment felt very natural, and it didn't feel contrived. And I think it really started to set the tone for the conclusion of the film. And it was, like I said, it wasn't written that way. The scene was there, but like I said, it was a different part of the film. But to get off my own high horse, I think the thing I'm most proud of is just how well the cast worked, especially Luke and Sally. They really made my job easy. There wasn't sometimes directing involves getting the heck out of the way and letting the actors do their thing and not micromanaging and every little nook and cranny. I've been on sets as an actor where directors just feel like they must direct you, spoon feed you, and it doesn't work usually. I just kind of letting them do their thing and knowing my place as a director and just keeping them in the lane. Yeah.
And the short's been going around festivals. It's been doing its thing. It's been winning awards all over the place, which is great to see, because genuinely, again, I love the short. What's the best thing you've heard someone say, like an audience member or something that somebody's taken away from the movie and then let you know about?
When I get interviewed and the interviewer says that they cried. No, I mean, it's, really more when I'm going to sort of not answer your question, but try to answer it this way. When I'm watching the film, in the audience. Like I'm at a festival and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it with everyone else, and they're probably seeing it for the first time, obviously, and I've seen it 1,000 times. My palms still get sweaty and I get, antsy, and the best feedback that I get is as they're watching it, they're laughing with the two characters. They're not laughing at them. They're enjoying the moments with them as they go up and down, whatever they're in. They're just really there with them on the boat. But to answer your question, I guess probably that the performances were fantastic. They really liked that. They were moved by the story, and they can relate to it. Many people can have some, relation even going back when they were children. And that I think that somebody said everyone needs an Aunt Sally.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I would have killed to have had an Aunt Sally.
Me too. Me too.
Would you? This is a short, and a lot of shorts should stay as a short because they're just perfect the way they are. Would you ever consider maybe expanding on this?
Heather and I talked about it, and if someone sends us a big pot of money, we'll. No, I'm being facetious, of course, but I would never say no to that. I'd like to get it through the festival circuit and see what happens and see what picks up. But that probably would be up to Heather to decide to expand the story, which we could. We could totally, where's the dad and what really happens to Sally? We might be able to flesh that out a little bit, and Mimi, and give her some more of her idiosyncrasies, and Mom. We can get, there's a lot more we can do, and then show them at school and being teased, or perhaps just really shy in the corner and building all of that. There's a lot what we could do, but we never really planned on it from the beginning to make it a feature, but we were never against that. We'll just have to see, to be honest.
So on that, what is next for Tom? Obviously, you're pushing the movie out there, you're getting in the festivals, you're letting people know about it, but are you actively working on anything else? Or
I wanted to say I have no idea, because I just felt that's where I should be right now, but I wanted to do some more auditioning as an actor, but I am writing. I've got like 4 different shorts or stories. They may become bigger, that are in different levels of development, and I just keep throwing energy at each of them. And so I'm going to be doing some traveling at the end of the year in fall, and there may be some opportunities where I'm going to be traveling to, and if that works out, then the following year I may have a different, ask me again in 3 months and I'll have a different answer to that. But yeah, I think it's going to be the same stuff. We're going to be, I'm going to be creating more content and shooting it or doing some acting. I can do both. I can do both of those things at the same time, for sure. But there's nothing like I don't have a deadline. I don't have a date right now to say we're going to be finished by this date.
Would you act in your own projects going forward, or?
I did the first one in a big way, and the second one in a small way, and obviously I was too old to play Luke. And
different movie.
I would if it makes sense. Yeah. If it makes sense for me to be cast as that role, I would, but I wouldn't just install myself to make it a what is it, like a showcase for me. I don't need that. I want to do whatever's right for the story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So obviously it's a bit of a personal tale. Again, it's Heather's story, but you can 100% relate to it. I can relate to it. I'm pretty sure most audiences will be able to relate to it. But what do you hope people do take away from My Dear Aunt Sally?
Well, I mean, I hope that that's really a great question. I mean, obviously, maybe they can be an Aunt Sally. If there's a need, if there's a need, sometimes parents can't be your friend. I mean, they got to be your parent.
Yeah.
But I mean, and also if you're a young person, or maybe not so young, some people are kind of, inhibited and shy as they get older, to maybe take some life lessons from it, perhaps. So we didn't want to make it a message film. That wasn't really, it was just an enjoyment film with an aunt and a kind of a coming of age, perhaps character study, I guess, if I had to pin it down. But yeah, I mean, maybe try to be an Aunt Sally. That would be great. That'd be a great message.
I genuinely love that.
Thank you.
So we have a lot of young people that come to the festival, and they are hoping to get into filmmaking. We've got some students kicking about with us this year who've been on film courses, and they're going to be helping us out this year. What would Tom's advice be, your one piece of advice that you would give to someone who was looking to get into the industry?
Gotta be easier for me to tell you what not to do, but but to answer your question again, just try not to be too trite about it, but it's like, just, you always have to enjoy it, and make sure you get yourself around the right people. So key for probably in anything in life. And now that I think about it, but especially in filmmaking, you got to get around the right people that really care about you and what you're doing. And they got your back, and they're willing to give it to you straight if you're screwing up too. Sit you down and go, look, this isn't right. You need to do it. I haven't had a lot of that in my life, thank God. But sometimes people say, maybe you might want to go a different route on this. And you trust them enough to be willing to listen to them. Those are the people that you want around you.
Who inspires you, Tom?
My father, he's not here anymore. My father inspires me to this very day. There are people I work with that inspire me. My wife is I kind of call her the thermostat, and I'm the thermometer. You know, she keeps it cool and hot when I need to get warm. If I'm feeling bad, so she's been and she's not in the business. She's like a civilian, completely doesn't get involved, which I love. And she gives it to me straight. She will give it to me straight. And I like that. And she's wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
We're gonna start wrapping up, Tom. But again, thank you so much for giving us My Dear Aunt Sally, letting us show it. And we've got some great shots this year, sort of a little bit around that same kind of topic as well. So
really?
It's
cool.
It's a nice little mix of what we've got, different areas of that. But I genuinely I think Chelsea Lane is just a superstar. Like, I don't think you could get a better Dear Aunt Sally or a better Aunt Sally.
We agree. We really do. And thank you for that. And I will let her know. I hope she watches this. I'll let her know. I think she's fantastic. I mean, they're really good, both of them. And thank you for your interview and your time. I really appreciate it. And I really wish I could be there. I really do.
Oh, we wish you were here, but that's kind of why I'm doing this. It just means that I get to have you for myself on the interviews, and nobody else gets to speak to you, and I'm happy with that, because I'm the one that people want to speak to. But before I let you go, let people know where they can find you, where they can find your work, social medias, anything like that. Just sort of promote yourself a little bit and give people a 1-minute elevator pitch to go and watch Dear Aunt Sally.
Oh gosh, it's such a great film. It moves quickly. It's great acting. I think it's a wonderful story. It's something that you're just not going to regret. Money back guarantee. You know, as far as finding me, you get my name, www.tomprocida.com. I have my own website, and then there's Double Sky Films, which is the production company. Double Sky Films. We'll have all of my work. At least the trailers will be on it. My first film is on Amazon Prime, but you can email me, or I'm on Facebook, same name. Check me out on Facebook. You can message me. I'll get back to answer your questions, whatever you want. Totally. Love talking about this stuff.
So everyone out there, if you're in the Romford area, if you're roundabout for the Romford Film Festival, absolutely check out My Dear Aunt Sally. I believe it's on the Wednesday the 24th. Okay. It's on the opening day. So absolutely make sure you're there. Make sure you're here to see this movie. It's one that you're not going to want to miss. It's definitely one of the must-watch shorts of the festival, 100%.
Great, thank you.
But Tom, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for coming on and giving us some of your time. I'll be putting this out there, and people will get to see a little bit more about the man behind the story and the man behind the film.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Just do your exercises like Dr. Khan taught you. You're gonna have a blast with Aunt Sally. Ah! First try!
I can't believe you did that.
Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do something just because you're a kid.
Aunt Sally, thanks.